What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that your sales or your work has been fruitful over the weekend. Welcome to the live Amazon FBA Seller Ask Me Anything, and we are live from sunny Central Florida. Um, my name is Chris Grant. If you guys are just tuning in, this is your first time here, here's what we do. I answer your guys' questions, but I need your help. If you've got something that you need help with, drop it in the chat and we will talk about it. And then I will also share a tip with you guys. I didn't get to it yesterday, but I will be sharing it with you guys today. Chris, what is going on, man? Good to see you. Luke, good to see you as well, sir. Kevin, good evening, my man. And David, glad to see you as well. Hey to everybody on Twitter and Instagram as well. All right, let's get diving in. I'm gonna answer David's question here, and then I'm gonna share my screen with you and share the tip that I was gonna share yesterday. So, David, sending docs for a Section 3 follow-up. What software do you use to combine PDFs that can handle an individual file with more than 500 pages? So you may end up having to pay for a software to be able to handle something that large. But I use either ilovepdf.com or smallpdf.com. Those are the two that I have messed with in the past. Small PDF, it doesn't say exactly how large the file can be that you're merging. But they do have a paid version for $12 a month. You could just pay for 1 month of it and make sure that you can use it there. But try small PDF, try ilovepdf.com. And if those don't work, let me know and I will I'll look a little bit deeper for you. Hey Syed, what's going on? Yeah, small PDF is much prettier. I love PDF is not my favorite. It's definitely not as good as small PDF. Small PDF is fantastic. I really probably should pay them some money because they have some good products. All right, let me share my screen with you guys and let me tell you about what I wanted to share with you yesterday. Okay, so one of the questions that I get quite often is, hey, such and such a holiday is coming up. What should I sell? Well, my answer is often if I told you exactly what to sell, it really would not be helpful because then a bunch of people are going to do it. However, there is a ton of data out there that you can take a look at. Number one, you can use something like Perplexity and you can just ask it questions like anything. Okay. So one of the things that I went out to Perplexity and did is I said, please compile a list of the top 50 items sold for Valentine's Day. I'll make sure to mind your P's and Q's to our future AI overlords. But you're going to get some answers, okay? And some of them are, of course, going to be the chocolates and treats. Now, this one says handmade, but you're also going to get other ideas like jewelry, okay? I actually really enjoy selling jewelry products. But then you could also go out and look for spa sets. There's probably spa sets that you could sell. There are photo albums and scrapbooks. These are things I've never even thought about selling on Amazon, but I would imagine that there are some arbitrageable photo albums and scrapbooks out there that you could get to. Now, there are other things as well. It says here like romantic weekend getaways. Well, maybe there are people who want to do a romantic weekend getaway, but they don't necessarily want to go out of the house. So there are probably products on Amazon that help you have romantic weekends at home. And so I'd start looking there as well. Okay. Of course, there's 50 different items here: blankets, pajama sets, boxes of chocolates, of course. But then I asked it to get a little bit more detailed for me. And I said, what are the top 50 candies that are sold for Valentine's Day? Because that's a heck of a lot easier to sell. And then I start getting some better ideas. Well, of course, we've got conversation hearts. We've got heart-shaped boxes of chocolate, Hershey's Kisses, M&Ms, Cupid corn, which I didn't realize that Cupid corn was a thing. I know candy corn, but I didn't know they made it for Valentine's Day. And I have sourced Valentine's candy for years and years. So this is something I'm going to have to keep an eye out for. But chocolate roses and conversation hearts and all these different candies here that I could go and look and see if I could find profitably. But then I also wanted to go a little bit deeper. What are the top Valentine's Day candies for kids? All right. Because you've got not only candies for people who you may care about, but you're going to have those candies that you need to send to school with your kids that they can pass out on Valentine's Day. And sure enough, we've got those as well. Nerds gummy clusters and Jolly Rancher jelly hearts and so on and so forth. All right. But then I started using the questions that Perplexity offers to me. If you look at the end of every single prompt here, you'll see that it gives you some questions to ask automatically. And one of the questions that was in here was, are there any Valentine's Day candies that are gluten free? Well, I really like it when we can find products that kind of hit two different areas. Okay. So, of course, we've got a seasonal product, but then let's also hit a dietary restriction because people who are looking for items for seasonal will typically pay a little bit more. But people who have some sort of restriction, like a dietary restriction, will also pay a little bit extra. So, we've got the best of both worlds here. So, what candies are gluten free? Well, I didn't realize that Hershey's Kisses are gluten free. We've got almond roca, which has not shown up yet, but is obviously something that still sells. We've got chocolate covered cherries, Dove chocolate, No Way chocolate. I've never heard of that, but that's something that I could take a look at and see. Could I find No Way chocolate? I'm not sure if that's a brand or if it's just a type of chocolate with no whey in it. Okay. Uh, so that is another way to dive a little bit deeper and be able to get into these niches that other people may not be looking at. Okay. Now I did one other thing. Okay. I went just a little bit deeper. I went to Keepa. I went to the data section and I went to the product best sellers and I chose grocery and gourmet food. And I chose the historical data from February of 2024. I probably shouldn't be given this kind of alpha out, but that's okay. All right, there's not a whole lot of people here, but I downloaded the top 5,000 best sellers in the grocery category from February of 2024. Okay, now we're going to see a lot of things in here that are the usual. We've got teas and nuts and soups and drinks, etc., and so on. All right. But if you scan long enough, you are going to see, let me go down a little bit further here. You are going to see that there are Valentine's Day type products in here in the top 5,000. Unfortunately, I can't go any deeper than the top 5,000. But what I did is I exported this data, all active columns, into a CSV file. And I said, hey, please analyze these top 5,000 grocery products from Amazon back in February of 2024 and pull out some of the trends that you see in the data. And I uploaded this CSV. And here we go. Here's some of the trends observed from the analysis of the top 5,000 grocery products on Amazon in February 2024. We've got syrups and herbal teas and things like that. Average rating and review count, but sales trends. Okay, the highest sales drops over the last 90 days were observed in products like these ramen noodles, replacement meal replacement shakes, etc. We've got product variety, but then we've got some seasonal and limited edition products. Okay, so things like pumpkin spice premier protein shakes were still selling well all the way into February. And we could start asking some other questions of this data as well. What products had the highest sales drops in the last 90 days? What are the top categories among these top 5,000 grocery products? We'll go ahead and ask that. And maybe it can break it down into some other niches for us. But you don't have to just do this with data from the best sellers list. You could compile data from any sort of Keepa search, and you could start asking it questions inside of Perplexity, inside of ChatGPT. You might want to use ChatGPT o1. Anyway, the most updated model, and you're going to be surprised at what you're going to find. 847 products were single serve capsules and pods. There are 422 products that are syrups, 250 products that are energy drinks, 223 that are ground coffee. Like, we can pull out a lot of data in here. And like, look, 83 products are high protein. Well, there's a niche that we could go down that maybe we didn't think about, even though I was starting off asking questions about Valentine's Day products. We know that people want to increase their protein intake. Well, I could just go and do searches for high protein in the grocery category and start reverse sourcing all of those. And then also storefront stalking the sellers who are selling higher protein products. All right. So make sure to start implementing AI into your business in some way. You can get some interesting data out here from Keepa information that you may not think about. All right. All right. And we'll start doing some more AI stuff because there's going to be a lot of cool things coming up here in the future. All right. Let me answer your guys' questions here. I appreciate that, Klaus. All right. Hey, Lynn, Sandy, what's going on? What's up, Corey? You know what? I will. I really like the coach of the Lions. So, Corey, I'm all about the Lions. I appreciate him. I think the coach is one heck of a guy. Really did a amazing job up there. I'm all right with that. It's just that team from Ann Arbor I don't care for. Joe Mazan, there's a conspiracy theory joke that all candy corn was made in the 70s and never been made since. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Hey, Christian, what's going on? All right, not a whole lot of questions. If you guys have any questions I can help with, now's the time. Otherwise, I got to go grill up some chicken thighs for the family. Oh, Corey. Corey is coming to the dark side. Yeah, Dan Campbell is awesome, but go Buckeyes the rest of the way. I'm all about it. Corey, you're all right in my book, man. All right, Christian, I've been seeing a lot of posts about year-end reports, and it's getting confusing and endless. What are your thoughts? So you are going to want to run some year-end reports, and in the past, it used to be a much more difficult process than it is right now. But what you need to know is how much inventory you have on hand that has not been sold on January 1st. That's what you need. Again, I don't know the exact reports you need to pull because I don't have that memorized, but I have written a post about it in the past, and I will find that post. Absolutely. Ethan, I got a branded bundle that got suspended and then unsuspended. Would you list it? I would not list a branded bundle at the moment. I think that branded bundles are too close. I've seen too many people get suspended for branded bundles, and you're toeing the line way too much with those. Has Q1 been a little slow for you? Well, we're only 5 days into Q1. Now, our Q1 sales are down compared to last month, about 20%. However, we had some sales holidays at the very beginning of December. So is Q1 slow? No. My opinion is Q1 is not slow. Q1 is back to normal. Okay. If you compare Q4 and Q1, you're going to be upset. All right. That's something you absolutely can't do. And Ava, when does the OA challenge start in January? The OA challenge starts on January 27th. We get started January 27th at 6:15 p.m. right after our daily live. Um, and if you're interested in learning about the OA challenge, I appreciate that softball, Ava. You can go to oachallenge.com, see what we're going to be teaching, see what we're going to be learning. It's going to be 14 days of jam-packed information every single day at 6:15 at night for somewhere around 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the number of questions. And we're going to be covering everything. We're going to cover Keepa for 2 days. We're going to cover manual sourcing, reverse sourcing, using software like tactical arbitrage, all of the calculators, et cetera, and so on. We're taking some time for Section 3, of course. We're taking some time for AI, all kinds of things. Chris, there's a great Lewis Black bit about candy corn. Yeah, Lewis Black is he's great. What is the meaning of arbitrage? The meaning of arbitrage is uh, it is taking something of lower value in one marketplace and selling it for, or taking it to another marketplace where it has a higher value. That is the meaning of arbitrage. In our case, we're talking about taking things from retail stores, wholesalers, etc., and selling them on the Amazon marketplace or Walmart marketplace where the value is higher. Do you think using reinstatement services like Riverbend or whoever is worth it for Section 3 cases? I think that most people should be able to get themselves reinstated from a Section 3 without getting any help. But if it's an incredibly complicated matter, that having some help is never a bad idea. I think that services like Riverbend, Seller Basics, Jeff Schick, I think they all do a pretty daggone good job. As we have Keepa to analyze IP strikes with seller drops, what's the role of IP alert and those other ones? What's the benefit? Well, the benefit is you can figure out pretty well whether or not there's an IP issue inside of Keepa. Okay, you should see some straight down drops. However, that's not always the case. There are some brands that don't always hit everybody immediately. Uh, and it's a heck of a lot easier just to pay attention to IP alert. But if if you need to spend that money on inventory, I'd rather you spend the money on inventory than pay me a few bucks for IP alert. David, if someone uses a copyrighted picture to create a Nike listing, would everyone on that listing get an IP complaint? Seems like any big brand listing would be a risk. It is possible that that could happen. Yes. Now, chances are Nike's not going to do that. But it does happen on occasion when someone takes an image from some other website and puts it on Amazon. Now, should that happen? No, because Amazon says that they take ownership of the image, but they always pass that stuff off to Amazon sellers. So in my opinion, it's probably not a huge risk, but there is some risk. We know that there was some Sephora product earlier this year that got some IP complaints, but that was because the item was created with the exact same listing title as was used on Sephora's website. Do you save this broadcast? Yep, it's always saved on YouTube, and I don't believe it goes anywhere off of Keepa either. Are you still restocking multi-packs? So I actually went just yesterday to look if we could restock one of the multi-packs that we sell. Unfortunately, both sources that we use were out of stock on the particular item that we've sold. So we're not restocking right now. However, we will be if we can. Absolutely. Chris, you have time to share your thoughts on updated inventory reimbursement policy, the manufacturing cost. So Amazon did make a quick change to that after there was a little pushback. I need to go and reread it, but they said you're going to be able to upload your costs. And so I think for arbitrage sellers and wholesale sellers like yourself, Joe, I think it's going to be much more of a management issue then it's going to be you're not going to get totally screwed because if Amazon was just, well, we're going to reimburse you what we know our manufacturing cost would be, yes, that would be a big middle finger to Amazon sellers. But since you do get to upload your costs, that may mitigate it a little bit. It's still not going to be what it was. It's not going to be based on the sell price, which is what it always was. And I'm curious what's going to happen with Amazon as sellers start trying to add in a little extra to try to cover, inbound shipping fees and things like that. How is Amazon going to push back? So this is definitely my least favorite of all the changes that's happening. Are the reports from Amazon good enough to keep track of things as I learn, or should I start paying for one? Which one is the best? The reports from Amazon are plenty as you get going. The biggest thing you're going to need is you are going to need some sort of accounting. Okay, you can use the send to Amazon workflow. You can use Amazon's reports, but you are going to need a form of accounting. Now you could use a Google sheet or an Excel spreadsheet if you want to. That's fine, but save as much money as you possibly can until you're ready to start paying for things. Corey, any chance that all these restrictions get lifted? Sure, there is a chance. I just don't know that. I don't know that I want to try to get people's hopes up that it's absolutely going to happen. Eunice, what are the chances you drop a 50% off discount code so I can grab myself a Keepa SOP subscription? I dislike running sales, but I'll tell you what. If it's not a Keepa SOP subscription, it's just a one-time flat fee. But if you message me at chris@cleartheshelf.com, I will make you a one-off coupon code to get that for 50% off. Amazon keeps telling me my delivery promise date is too far out. For instance, customer sees it will arrive on the 12th, but it arrives on the 9th. I called support. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that may be happening. I can't tell you for sure. There could be a little bit of an issue since I believe on the 9th, USPS is going to be closed for the day, and maybe that's causing an issue, but unfortunately, I'm not sure. That's sort of a one-off situation there. Osong, which types of products or services are of high demand that you can recommend for wholesale and retail arbitrage? Well, all of that information is over in Keepa. So it's not going to be services on Amazon. It's going to be products. Okay. But I mean, there are so many things that sell well that it would be hard to say. The difficult part is finding them profitably. Okay. And it's very easy to go down the rabbit trail of Keepa to see what items are selling thousands of units a month if you really want to do that. Yeah, Lulu does have a little pep in her step today. She hates the office door being closed, and so it's irritating her a little bit. That's what her deal is. But yeah, that 18-year-old is moving today. Robert, I find myself having a hard time sitting at the computer and sourcing for hours on end. I know I must do this to get better. Any thoughts on how I can overcome this? Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is there's a couple things. Number one, you need to make it more attractive. Okay, so figure out what it is about sitting down behind the computer that you don't like. Is it because your desk is messy? Is it because do you need to light a candle? Luke, yeah, I did source by candlelight when I first got started, but do you need to light a candle to create some ambiance? Like, make it attractive to want to sit down. grab your favorite beverage. All right. Now, I don't suggest drunk sourcing. Okay. But grab your favorite beverage, grab your favorite snack, sit down and do the sourcing. Say that you're going to just sit down for 15 or 30 minutes or whatever it is. Set yourself a timer, get there every single day. When that timer goes off, if you're still willing to do more, stay and do more work. And over time, it's going to feel a heck of a lot better. And then the other thing is make yourself some sort of reward for actually doing the work. Okay. So I don't know. I'm going to use a really bad example here because it's beginning of the year and nobody should be wanting to do this. But let's just say that at the end of a 30-minute sourcing session, you give yourself a piece of chocolate. Okay. Well, have that piece of chocolate ready to go. You're not allowed to touch it until you get 30 minutes of sourcing in, and then give yourself that little reward. Okay. So make it attractive, make it easy, set up your environment to make it enjoyable to be there, or as enjoyable as you can, and then have some sort of reward for when you're done. Now, you can also go the opposite direction. Okay. Uh, People are often motivated by the fear of missing out on something. Okay. So you can use a carrot, like I suggested, or you can use the stick. Okay. So if you don't do sourcing for X amount of time, take something away. All right. Something maybe you really like to do every day. Maybe it's sitting down and watching your favorite show. Maybe it's watching Sports Center the next morning. Say, you know what? I didn't sit down. I didn't do my sourcing today. I don't get to watch Sports Center the next morning as I get ready for the day. Can you please send out the step-by-step sheet for Section 3 suspension? Um, uh, so I will try to get to it. I'll be honest, I'm a little on the busy side, but we have done a podcast on it. It's almost 2 hours long, and we did a webinar all about Section 3s. Go watch that podcast. It'll get you there. Exactly what you need to do. Oh, Corey, was that you? I thought that was Luke. Yeah, that was funny. David, just talked to a seller that has been selling for 4 years, done about 9 million in sales in California, and get that he just got Keepa last month. That's insane. That is absolutely crazy to me. Joe's got a really great idea here, Robert. Yeah, if you can make a friend or have a friend who would go and sit down and source with you, that can be a great way to do things as well. How often do you source, and how long do you source at this stage of your selling journey? So I've got a team that helps with sourcing now. So oftentimes it's just buying, but we are trying to buy every single day. Doesn't always happen. We really are just trying to buy a little bit more every single week than we did the week before. So yeah, definitely don't pop a gummy and source in the grocery category. Which places can one do sourcing of products at cheaper prices to sell on Amazon at higher prices? Just about anywhere. Every big box store will have products that sell for more on Amazon. But the real gold is doing some Google searches and finding those off the beaten path retailers. Let's see. I talked to two sellers recently. One got a VA within a week of starting Amazon and is putting the VA on trial, and the other paid 5 grand for a one-on-one course for 6 months. That's great. So number one, if you're just getting started on Amazon and getting a VA, that's absolutely crazy. If you don't know what you're doing, how are you supposed to manage somebody that you have no idea if they're doing it right? Now, the one-on-one for 6 months, paying $5,000 for that, I'm not necessarily against that if they're going to get what they pay for. Okay. I've asked people have asked me to do that kind of thing for them. I've never felt comfortable charging that kind of money. Maybe I should get over it. But the VA thing to me is absolutely nuts. Okay. What is the minimum cost to set up online arbitrage blogging? Osong, I'm not 100% sure what you mean there. Unfortunately, um, uh, online arbitrage blogging is different than online arbitrage, so I think you might be confused about the two things. Hey Tom, what's going on? Is it too late to join the Leads group? Yeah, unfortunately, we sold out of the Leads group, so we've only got the OA challenge open up. And Syed, as in, let's see, in arbitrage, we source from different retailers and we understand how to vet what about wholesalers, because I think Walmart or Target is more secure than an ordinary wholesale. Your thoughts? You definitely need to vet your wholesale suppliers. You need to make sure that they're legitimate businesses, make sure they're not, just Telegram suppliers or Discord suppliers or something like that. You want to make sure they're not selling any gray market goods. But if they're a legitimate business with a Google My Business and a website and things like that, you should be just fine. My motivation will be watching the Vikings beat the Lions tonight. Oh, Robert and Corey, you guys are going to have to go at it, man. What's the cost of your training on online arbitrage? Our OA challenge is $397 for the 14-day challenge. Okay. All right, guys. I got to wrap it up there. David, I see you got one more question, but I'm going to need to get to that one tomorrow. I've got to go cook dinner for the family. But I'll be back tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. We'll do this all over again. And David, I'll bring some tips about cash flow and things like that. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Go Lions. And I'll see you guys on Monday.